Hey, what's up everybody? I'm Flying Scorpion, and today I'm going to do a combination of a State of the Channel update along with Sea of Thieves. And I feel kind of good about doing this because when I first learned about Sea of Thieves, or first saw Sea of Thieves ever, I was just browsing YouTube. I came across some small-time YouTuber's channel similar to my own channel, and he was doing the same thing. He was doing a State of the Channel update. However, he wasn't really talking about Sea of Thieves at all during his State of the Channel update. He was just talking about his YouTube channel. And in this video, I'll do both. I'll give a State of the Channel update as well as talk about Sea of Thieves at the same time. So after I saw his video, I was like, wow, that game looks really cool. It was just background footage he had up there with his voice in the background, and the water looked amazing. I've never seen a video game that nails water as good as Sea of Thieves. They clearly spent a lot of time working on it. The water is different depending upon the weather. If you're in a storm, it's huge waves with lightning and rain. There's really calm parts of the water where it's beautiful, like a resort in Jamaica or something like that. And yeah, it's that alone was a reason for me to take an interest in the game. So I started paying attention to the game, looking for where I could buy it. It wasn't available on Steam at the time, so this was like a couple years ago. And then about a year ago, it became available on Steam. And then, as in my last video, I said that I got burnt out on grinding in Elite Dangerous. The PvP PvE situation in Elite Dangerous is you can grind the PvE content and push your faction to beat another player's faction, but it's really who puts in more time. And people like myself, right now I'm not working. I can have a lot of time to grind all day. And if your opposition is grinding all day, then it's really who can sacrifice the most sleep. And that'll really burn you out. So I'm burnt out on Elite Dangerous, so I decided to look for something new to play, and Sea of Thieves was 50% off. And it just worked out great. There was nothing I wanted to play that was really interesting or standing out to me. I wanted something new, and this game delivered. It's unique. It's clean. The user interface, just look at the background footage. Maybe I'll put some screenshots up here. Look at how clean that user interface is. It's beautiful, and it's very intuitive. It doesn't take a long time to learn how to play the game. Learning how to play the game is very smooth in its transition. It's very easy. There's a couple things that you wouldn't pick up on from just playing the game. For example, if you're sailing headfirst into the wind, you want your sails pointing straight forward. That makes absolutely no sense intuitively, but that's just the way it works in the game. So there's a couple things like that, but for the most part, I'd say like 95% of the stuff in the game, you don't need to look up a tutorial on how to do it. And I actively recommend against doing that, because a large part of the fun in this game is going in blind, which I did, not really knowing what to expect, and allowing the game to surprise you and giving yourself the opportunity to try and solve the problems and the puzzles and the riddles yourself. The game has lots of puzzles and riddles, and for example, you'll get clues on where to find buried treasure, and of course you can just go and look online and find out where it is. Here's a walkthrough. This is where you go to find the buried treasure. But why would you do that? Like that's what half the fun is trying to find it for yourself. X marks the spot, and you're like, okay, there's a tree there, there's a rock there. I'm triangulating. I'm like, okay, right around here near where this barnacle is, and then you dig there. Oh, there's buried treasure. It feels so much better to solve the problems yourself. Same thing too with I don't want to spoil anything, but there's things in the game that the game will throw at you, and it will surprise you, it will scare you, and it's not scary at all if you look up a tutorial and you go, oh, okay, that's how that works, and you're just like, okay, I can do that with my eyes closed, for example. So if you're watching this video and you haven't played Sea of Thieves before, I recommend that you avoid looking up tutorial videos on how to do this, on how to play this game, and maybe just look at some gameplay clips that were released from the actual game developers, because they're not going to spoil it. They'll show you some stuff here and there, but they're not going to actively break down how all the mechanics work for every boss fight and things like that. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I should probably explain to you a little more about what Sea of Thieves is. If you haven't played it before, you're in this open world environment. It is not what's the word, procedurally generated. So it looks like the islands were handcrafted by the developers. There's a lot of games with procedurally generated environments these days, like Path of Exile, No Man's Sky, Elite Dangerous, for example. You don't get a lot of handcrafted games with large environments like this one. So they put in a lot of work, obviously. Every environment has a story in there, or at least multiple stories. You'll find leftover journals. You'll find maybe a cave with a little campsite inside of it and a skeleton there, and then maybe you'll find like some sort of map with their treasure that they left somewhere on the island. It's fun just to walk around the islands and just take it all in, because they have done a good job, and you see more and more games doing this, of interweaving history and lore and story and a lot of character into the actual design of the environments themselves. It's quite enjoyable just to look at an island in the distance and go, oh, that looks really interesting. It's like there's a land bridge with water underneath of it. I'll go check it out. And then you just hang out and look at the sunset and drink your grog. And you can do that in this game. Which brings me back to a point that I wanted to make, and I forgot earlier, but I'll say it now. There is no RPG progression elements to this game. So you're never leveling up and getting stat points to distribute between your health and your damage and your movement speed or anything like that. And so if you've been playing for 50 hours or 80 hours, like I have been over the past couple weeks now, and you've learned the game, your progression and your ability to compete with other players is purely based on skill. Well, I won't say it's purely based on skill. There's a little bit of luck here and there. You can assemble a team. Having a team will help you out. But at least the situation where someone who's an intermediate player and someone who's been playing the game for a long time doesn't have the added disadvantage of having to go up against someone who has twice as much health and twice as much damage and movement speed as you do. There's no progression in terms of power in that way. And another great thing about it is that if you've been playing for a play session and you've been grinding up a bunch of treasure, for example, and somebody sinks your ship, it's okay. All you lose out are cosmetic items. That's it. All you can buy with gold is cosmetic items. Well, they recently added that you can buy in some storage crates, but it's not a big deal. When you log into Sea of Thieves, every play session you start off fresh. You start off with a fresh boat with stock supplies, some fruit, some food, some wood, and you go around, collect some cannonballs and bananas and things like that, and then you go out and you start sailing the high seas. And because that there is no progression through RPG elements, it helps to keep the game simple and intuitive. And it allows people like myself, and I recommend for you, to focus less on grinding, because there's nothing really to grind for except for cosmetics. If you want to grind for cosmetics, the option is there. And focus more on just having fun and just enjoying the process of going around collecting loot and taking risks and meeting people along the way. Now, there is multiplayer in the game. You can play solo if you want. They have a ship that's designed specifically for you to be able to solo in, but it's far easier if you have a crew, at least for me. If you want to test your skills, you can play solo. It's definitely doable, but it's definitely a lot harder to player versus player in a solo ship. They have open matchmaking, so you can jump in, you get matched up with random people. I would say that because the game is very simple, and it's cross-platform across consoles, there's a lot of younger people that play this game. I'm not quite sure what the demographic is on my YouTube channel, because it says that there's literally 0 women that watch my YouTube videos, and I'll have a video with like 5,000 views, and it'll say 100% of the audience is male, and I go, that's just not possible. I don't believe that. So, and when I look at the age demographics, it looks like there's some information missing there. So I'm not quite sure how old most of you are that are watching the channel. Yeah, let's get back to some state of the channel stuff. This reminds me of some state of the channel stuff I need to talk about, and it's that I don't have access to polls. I cannot create a poll for my YouTube channel because I don't have 1,000 subscribers. We're reaching 400 subscribers fairly soon here. I'm pretty sure it'll eventually reach 400 subscribers. How many of those subscribers are people that subscribed, a long time ago and are no longer even on YouTube? I don't know. But if this channel ever hits 1,000 subscribers, I can actually start polling people. Now, I think I can actually create polls on the videos themselves, and I'll see if I can do that here. I'll put a poll up there if I can to ask how old you are. But yeah, in Sea of Thieves, if you're playing open matchmaking, you're going to get matched up with totally random people. Some people are idiots, some people are assholes, some people are a lot of fun to play with, some people are natural born leaders, some people are griefers and they will grief your ship on purpose, even though you're on the same team, and some people are very relaxed and will go along with whatever you want to do. So you never know what you're going to get. It's very much hit or miss. If you want a consistent experience, play solo, or stick to people that you know already, or if you want something that's a little more consistent, you can go onto the Sea of Thieves community Discord. They have matchmaking there. It's very quick and easy to get matched up with other people, and you can find people there. So yeah, is there anything else that I want to talk about with the state of the channel? Yes, there definitely is. Been playing some Path of Exile lately. I might get back into Elder Scrolls Online. I haven't really had much to say on YouTube about Elite Dangerous. Maybe I'm trying to keep up with one video per week. I may end up taking a break from this. I've got work starting up in about 10 days. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, everyone, thanks for watching. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.
Grapple him.
Grapple him.
Grapple him and then kill him. Is the... Where exactly?
In the water.